Hello folks, it's me again, Amanda Enderman, your trusty tour guide in the wonders of the wonderful city, also known as Rio de Janeiro. You liked the video about historic flags of Brazil so much that I'm bringing you now a video of historic flags of Rio. After all, this channel is primarily about the city of Rio. Fun with Flags Part 2. Sheldon Cooper, don't come for me. I'm not stealing your brand or anything. But before I get right onto the theme of the video, I have to remind you that I'm currently offering walking tours through the city of Rio, and all of these tours are described on my website, which the link will be in the description box below, as well as in the first fixed comment. So all you have to do is click there, text me via WhatsApp, that's very important, make your reservations, and let's get to know the city of Rio in person, folks! With me, your trusty tour guide, of course. Now, without further ado, let's get right on to the theme of the video. The first flag that we're gonna talk about today is actually a crest of a noble gentleman of Portugal called Martim Afonso de Souza. In 1534, as I've already mentioned, I'm sure, in a previous video in this channel, Brazil was divided into several strips of land which were given to several gentlemen of Portugal, some noble and some weren't actually noble, so that they could finally settle in the sense of creating cities, populating Brazil, and all of that. And that was because in 1530, the King of Portugal, John III, noticed that if he continued to simply explore Brazil, get the good stuff, take the good stuff to Portugal, and not actually have settlers here in Brazil, the French would take this land from Portugal. So in 1530, he sent an expedition which was commanded by Martim Afonso de Souza with a triple purpose. The first purpose was to combat the French invaders who were invading this, which was a Portuguese possession since 1342, as I mentioned in the video about the true date of Brazil's discovery. Also, to further explore the land in the direction of the Rio da Prata in order to search for precious metals, and mainly to establish settlements along the shoreline. When the land was officially divided, Martim Afonso de Souza chose to stay with two strips of land. The strips of land of São Vicente, which is located in the shoreline in the south of São Paulo. As a matter of fact, there is a city in São Paulo of this name to this day. And he also chose to stay with the strip of land corresponding to Rio de Janeiro.
But Amanda, why did he choose these strips of land when there were others that could be chosen?
Because with this, he could take possession of the many things that he had already established here when he came in 1530, which is fair, right? He built things here, he established things here, so he took possession of the things he had built over here. Not to mention, he also wanted to take possession of this location, which was very strategic in terms of ships coming in and all of that. He was already thinking ahead. Then, of course, with the division of the lands, the personal crests of each of the gentlemen who were now the administrators of these strips of land would represent each of the strips of land. So it can be said that the crest of Martim Afonso de Souza was the first symbol, the first flag of sorts, to represent Rio. The second flag that we are going to talk about in this video is the flag of the Antarctic Friends. And I have already mentioned this in the video that I made about the foundation of the city of Rio, which I will leave in the cards above for you up here, of course. In November 1555, the French explorer Nicolas Durand de Villegagnon came here and founded a French colony called the Antarctic France in the island of Villegagnon, where nowadays is the Brazilian Naval School. Of course, that settlement didn't last very long, as I already said in the video about the foundation of the city of Rio. So if you would like to know more about that, just click there and you can catch up on that. So instead, I'm gonna talk about the fleur de lis, which is a symbol very much associated with France and that you could see in this flag. So I'm going to talk about that and why is that symbol on this flag. Legend has it that a French king started adopting the fleur de lis as a symbol of his reign because he saw an image of the Virgin Mary in a flower, and he swore from then until the end of his life that this vision helped him recover from a great illness. Furthermore, this symbol is very much associated with the French king Louis VIII, which was the first one to actually use this symbol as a seal in documents that he signed. However, at least the sources that I was able to research don't mention if Louis VIII is also the king who saw the image of the Virgin Mary in a flower and was healed from an illness by that, or no. Nonetheless, those two are true. Anyways, since the Antarctic France didn't last very long, let's move on to our third flag that we're gonna talk about in this video, which is the flag of Saint Sebastian of Rio de Janeiro after the French were ousted from here. As you have seen in the image that just went through your screens, it was composed by an armilleric sphere which is crossed by 3 arrows. The armilleric sphere represents the Portuguese maritime expansion in the 1500s, and the 3 arrows are a way of paying homage to Saint Sebastian, which is the patron saint of Rio. And I have already spoken about him in a separate video that I made specifically about him in this channel, which of course I will also leave the link for you above. Our next flag that we are going to talk about in this video is actually the flag which was registered by the French Navy that they saw in Brazilian ships in 1858. After Brazil was elevated to the category of United Kingdom with Portugal and the Algarve, the land strip of Rio de Janeiro was also converted in a province of the kingdom and then a province of the empire. As I already explained in several other videos, during the time of the empire, instead of states, we had provinces. It was only with the proclamation of the Republic that the provinces started being called states. During the Brazilian Empire, the official symbol was the imperial flag, which I've already talked about in the video about historic flags of Brazil, which I'll also leave the link for you up here. However, the provinces each had their own flag, and most especially the provinces which were in the shoreline, because the merchant ships that were coming from these provinces needed to have not only the flag of the empire, but also a flag which would identify which province they were coming from originally. So the flag which identified the states of Rio was basically an early prototype of the flag which to this day is the flag of the state of Rio, which you can see right over here. Just like the one in the time of the empire, it has 2 white squares and 2 blue squares. Next is the flag at last of the state of Rio. This flag is based on the former flag, as I said before. However, the crest that you can see there in the middle was added. Pause everything! Let's cover here. In 1937, President Getúlio Vargas forbade any flag of states or of cities to be displayed anywhere. The only flag that could be displayed was the flag of Brazil, and this was established in the Constitution of 1937. But stay tuned, I will talk about the several constitutions that Brazil had in the series Rio the History when I get to them. But gladly, that didn't last long. Just a few short years later, the flags of the states and of the cities were allowed to be displayed again. So our next flag that we are going to talk about is the flag of the state of Guanabara, which was established by law number 3752 of 1960. I'm gonna have to go back in time a little bit to 1834, because it was in this year that Rio was elevated to the neutral city, or the ancestor of the federal district, which I already mentioned in one of the videos about the Regency period, because this was the period in which it was decreed. So then, in February 24th, 1891, was when the neutral city, as it was called, roughly translating, became the federal district at last. As a matter of fact, we have a song, very old-timer song from the 1940s or 1950s, which goes exactly like this. A Lapa é o ponto maior do mapa do Distrito Federal. Salve a Lapa! Because Rio at this time was the federal district, and Lapa, which was the Bohemian neighborhood, is in Rio. So of course, this song pays homage to that. Going back to the subject of flags, with the changing of the capital to Brasilia, precisely in 1960, Rio became the capital of the state of Guanabara, which was created, and hence the flag of the state of Guanabara. But this flag was extinguished just as the state of Guanabara was also extinguished in 1975, and so the city of Rio became once again the capital of the state of Rio, as it is to this day. Which brings us to the current flag of the city of Rio. I also have it there displayed for you, but here you can't see very much in detail like you can see in the image that just went through your screen. The basic drawing was officialized by decree number 1190 from July 8th, 1908. And as you can already see here, it has a white background with two blue stripes, which symbolize St. Andrew's Cross. On the center, there is the crest of the city. The blue and white represents the Portuguese origin of the city because they pay homage to the Portuguese monarchy.
Wait, Amanda, but in the video of the historic flags, you said, and I remember, that the colors of the Brazilian monarchy were the green and the yellow. Were you wrong then? Did it change? What happened?
I did mention that the green, just the green, was the color of the Braganza dynasty in Portugal, and the yellow was the color of the Habsburg dynasty from Austria. Remember? However, when Rio was founded, and this is the homage that is being paid here, the Braganzas weren't ruling Portugal. The dynasty which was ruling Portugal at this time was the dynasty of Avis. And the colors of the dynasty of Avis were white and blue. Not to mention that, well, if it were green and yellow, it would be very confusing with the flag of Brazil. Don't you think? Leave it in the comment section below. The red here, nothing communist there, no worries, symbolizes the blood, yes, actual blood, shed by Saint Sebastian, which is the patron saint of the city of Rio. I've already made a video about him, by the way, and I will leave it, of course, in the cards for you. and also the blood shed by Estácio de Sá, who was the founder of the city of Rio, when he was expelling the French from here, fighting for the defense of Rio. The 3 arrows that you can see in the crest also represents the martyrdom of the patron saint of Rio, which I have also already spoken about in the video about Saint Sebastian. The armilleric sphere, I've already said, symbolizes the Portuguese maritime expansion in the 1500s. However, if you look closely, you will also notice that there is a Phrygian cap in white in the middle of all the red.
Why is that? What kind of hat is this, which looks just like the hat worn by the Smurfs?
This hat was first used in ancient Rome, and it was given to the slaves when they were freed. So this was also used in the French Revolution as a symbol of freedom, and furthermore, it was also used in the proclamation of the Brazilian Republic, which, yes, adopted many French symbols, including the Phrygian cap. And Rio, already in the proclamation of the Republic, still remained being the capital of Brazil. Appropriate, right, that there should be a Phrygian cap in the flag of the city of Rio, which was the capital of Brazil when the Republic was first proclaimed in 1889. And speaking of which, the wall with 5 towers that you can also see as part of the crest represents precisely Rio's former condition of having been the capital of Brazil. After all, it was the city which was capital of Brazil for the longest time, even though it wasn't the first capital of Brazil, which was Salvador, and neither is it the current capital of Brazil, which is Brasilia. The 2 dolphins that you can also see in the flag, they're also in red, represent, of course, the very plain fact that Rio is a shoreline city. It is a city where there are beaches. This concludes this video about historic flags of the city of Rio and of the region of Rio as well. I hope you liked the video, and if you did like the video, be sure to hit that like button, then right after that, hit that subscribe button, and most important of all, share this video with as many people as you possibly can so that each time more people may know about the wonders of the wonderful city. And as usual in this channel, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!